Hi there, Cynthia here with Productivity Partners, and I'm here for this month's Leaders Log. So I wanted to share with you some information that we've been seeing on our cultural assessment. You know, in the early parts of our pandemic experience, March and April, we saw an awful lot of words describing how people were feeling that had to do with being anxious and frustrated, which is understandable. We were going through something none of us had gone through before. As the time has gone along and it's evolved, I keep seeing what I call a recurring cycle of grief. People get excited that it might be over, and then it's not going to be over. And they get excited because there might be a cure, and then there's not necessarily a cure or a vaccine. So over the months, we have seen a change. And in the last 2 months, we saw a change both on the for-profit and the not-for-profit side that had to do with people feeling depressed and people feeling stressed. And it makes sense because in conjunction with that on the news, there have been many, almost every night on the nightly news, a discussion about mental health, how to be aware of it, what to do about it, who to contact, what it might look like for your family or your employees. And that situation really has an opportunity. There's an opportunity there for you to recognize that within your workforce, whether it's senior leaders or staff or team members. There is an opportunity there to create and gain some trust. You know, trust is one of the 4 dimensions that we talk about in our assessment. It's communication, trust, alignment, and accountability. So I started to think about how can you demonstrate trust when it comes to this issue around somebody's suffering and you may not know it. They may be having a difficult mental days. So there is a book out there called The Little Thin Book of Trust. It's written by a gentleman named Charles Feltman. And he says there are 4 elements to trust for a leader to build trust in an organization. There's sincerity, reliability, competency, and care. So sincerity simply means, of course, doing what you say you're going to do and being consistent in delivering that. That's a big part of developing trust. And you know that that's true not just with your workforce, but with your family and friends as well. So sincerity is the first one. The second element has to do with reliability, that you say what you are going to do and that you are consistent in doing that. So it's more of a cycle of commitment about doing what you say, because it isn't a one-off. We don't do one thing and then we don't do it the next time. It is about a cycle of commitment that shows you care. The third element has to do with competency. Are you competent in doing what you say you're going to do? And of course, that's a demonstration of your talents on an ongoing basis. But it is the 4th element that I think is the one that I'd like to pay attention to today, and that has to do with care. You can show sincerity, competency, and reliability. You can demonstrate that. But if the person on the receiving end does not feel that you care about them as a human being, as opposed to your top line or bottom line results, then all else is lost. There is no trust, or the trust is on a very, very wobbly leg, so to speak. So to show care, you want to ask how somebody is doing. You want to listen to how they're doing. Because if you're not interested, they can tell. And the results of that are trust is definitely lost because they feel that you may be lying to them or you may be shortchanging them in some way. So it's really good to show some vulnerability and say, you know, I've had some days where it hasn't been any good, and mentally it's been a challenge, and I wonder how you're doing. And ask to hear how they're doing. Show that you care about what they're doing. Open up to some vulnerability. It goes a very, very long way to helping you develop trust with your workforce. So that's something to work on this month. And don't hesitate to think about bringing a speaker in to do a virtual presentation on mental health, or getting perhaps somebody some help, one-on-one help if they need it. Every situation is different. Every work-at-home situation may have some similarities, but every individual's situation is quite different. So take some time, get to know how everybody's doing, and then take the right action and show that you care. All right? I know you can do it. It's a plan to work on for this month. Take care.